Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has asked the Senate to confirm Abdulrasheed Bawa as the head of the country's anti-corruption agency. President Buhari's request was contained in a letter to the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, seeking the confirmation of the substantive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The presidency describes 40-year-old Bawa as a trained investigator with vast experience in probing and prosecuting advanced fee fraud cases, official corruption, bank fraud, money laundering, and other economic crimes. Bawa, who holds a BSc degree in economics and a master's in international affairs and diplomacy, was one of the pioneer EFCC cadet officers in 2005. The statement says he has undergone several specialized trainings in different parts of the world. African Affairs analyst Adeniyi Kunnu joins me now for more on this. Good to have you join me, Kunnu. And did this appointment by Nigeria's President Buhari come to you as a surprise?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a surprise per se, but it is actually mixed feeling, considering the long-drawn issue between the federal government and the former acting EFCC chairperson, Ibrahim Mago. If we look at how long that dragged, and the fact that the person who took over in interim capacity from Mago has been very, very quiet, you'd agree with me that such an agency cannot be kept in limbo for so long. But one of the things that actually struck me, two fundamentals here, Sulai. The first is a 40-year-old, and the second is been with the EFCC for 17 years. Then if I checked his resume, I found out that the man actually has his feet astride a lot of actually disciplines. In the first place, when we talk about the EFCC, we talk about the EFCC as dealing with financial crimes. For somebody who obtained his first degree in economics, I think is adept when it comes to financial issues. Then you also look at the master's degree he earned in international diplomacy. That simply means when you're dealing with high-level collaboration on the international space, you also has it. Considering again that is currently undergoing, to get a degree in law, it simply means also when it comes to the issues of the law, he's making an attempt to be adept at it, considering the many awards he has won. So I have to say that for the first time, Sulai, I can conveniently look away from the ethnic affiliation that it belongs. Of course, it's from Kebbi State, but for the first time, I don't want to care about that because his resume for me is actually impressive. But another thing, Sulai, that I have to say is we cannot continue to await the verdict of those who did all of the findings over the Mago issue. We need to know the definite position of that particular case, because if the anti-corruption agency of the country is not seen as being above board, then we might not have fought the right battle, Sulai.
Well, listening to you, it looks like this is the very first time the government of Nigeria has gotten someone who's properly fit to do this job. So how do you expect him to go about carrying this arduous task of fighting corruption in a nation that has been dogged by corruption and official corruption, so to speak?
If you first of all understand that this particular young man was poached, let me use that word loosely, was poached from Lagos. Lagos is the commercial capital of Africa with a lot of complex financial involvement and activities day in, day out. And do not also forget that for many who perhaps have forgotten, one of the biggest corruption cases in recent history has to do with that of the former petroleum minister, Adeniyi Kunnu. And he, Bawa, was involved in helping to resolve that particular issue by bringing out the corruption issues against the former petroleum minister and getting all of the things that should actually come to the country back to the country. And I feel that is one of the most complex things to have handled. And there are lots of other things that got involved with. And I can tell you for free, for somebody who has worked with the EFCC for 17 years, obviously, if we check the records very well, talking about the body loan discovery as well, talking about what was found there at a particular apartment that was associated with the former intelligence officer, Mr. Oke. Bawa was also involved in that. And many other high corruption cases that got involved. As a matter of fact and as a matter of incontrovertible position, virtually all the successes recorded by the embattled former acting EFCC chairman as we speak, was actually, what he was involved in. So for somebody to have actually gone with those who set those records, he obviously must have been aware of how they were able to tidy up the knotty issues, Sulai. And of course, going forward, whenever such responsibility is given to you, the leadership is called to question, because at times it is always easy when you are the person supporting the leader. But when the mantle of leadership falls on your shoulders, Sulai, one of the things would be that you are able to carry along all others and achieve greater success.
Quickly before we go, it has become the tradition in Nigeria that when a junior officer is appointed, some of his very seniors are asked to leave the service. Do you see this happening in the EFCC, knowing full well that this is the very first time a non-police officer is coming as the chairman of the anti-corruption agency?
Sulai, I must say something here very instructive, which is that perhaps there is need to understand we have to rejig such things that we do. The people you let go have actually garnered experience over the years. And if you're talking about somebody who has spent 17 years, he might not have as much experience in dealing with other issues as somebody who perhaps has spent maybe 25 or 30 years. It therefore would mean that at the moment, it may not be something that I will personally advocate for his superiors to be let go of, because it is the peculiar nature of what happens within the military and paramilitary organizations of the country. But when you're talking about corruption cases, Sulai, corruption cases are riddles that people who are involved in are able to solve much more as a result of their experience apart from their expertise on the job. It therefore means that perhaps there's going to be a caveat where the president will begin to think in another direction, not to immediately let go of the people that will provide him the needed support for him to achieve the needed success on the job. So, July, that's my position on the matter.
Adeniyi Kunnu, many thanks for unpacking this for us.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you.